Rise and shine, it's day 39. Wake up, you lazy chickens. It's almost 4:30. We gotta get to work. Who's ready to go see what kind of mischief we can get into today? Welcome back, everybody. It is old Big Mike back out here in the Hoopty Barn on day 39 with the Blue Goose, the old 31 Plymouth. And it's early. I couldn't sleep. You know, this old cranium of mine. So, anyway, where are we this morning? Well, we're going to get this steering squared away. Okay, I will confess. I came out here and did some figuring, and I think I got her figured out. Let me grab my little grandpa stool here. So, what we have here is, when this thing originally came out, this pivot for the steering box was way back here, way back there and way up high, and it had this big old rod here, and that was our steering. Well, now that we've moved this thing up here, we only got this little short distance. Well, and it's got to pull from the bottom in order to turn the right direction. If we take this off and we put it up here like this, well, it don't work. It pulls it backwards. It goes back this way, and yeah, it doesn't work right. So, it has to go from the bottom. Well, this is obviously not going to work. So, I'm going to make some adaptations. I know that's hard to believe, but I think we got her squared away. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take this dude here, and I'm going to modify it, and this is going to end up here. Yeah, that's some cutting and welding. We're going to have to clean this dude real good, get it cutted and welded, and this right here is going to be here, but I've got to take this, I'm going to cut this bottom portion off. I got to cut it down in here, because this is good. This will travel just fine. If I put this dude back here, there. So if I put that dude back there, it'll travel just fine. This will turn and clear everything. But in order to keep the right geometry, we need this part off of here. But instead of it pointing straight up and down, we're going to have it like this. So, yes, I'm going to destroy this whole thing. I'm going to chop it into pieces. I'm going to turn it and configure it and weld it all back together. And we're going to make us a little steering apparatus. And we will have this dude rocking and rolling here, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 hours. I know it goes by fast on the video, but it goes by slow in the shop. So, alright, I'm going to dig into it. I'm going to get busy, and I'll be back here directly. Alright, so I thought I'd show you this real quick before I start welding on this thing. So, Yeah, I cut the ball off. The center shaft, this is where it hooks on. And what I did was I notched it out so that I can get a really good weld all the way in there. And I can penetrate that sucker, make sure I've got a good solid weld, and then I'll build it and then I'll shape it, and we'll see how she looks whenever I get her done. So, you ready to see it? She ain't what I would say, you know, factory or anything, but I think she's gonna work. So we'll take her over here and right there. Yes, sir. So now we got one piece of the puzzle done there. Now I got to work on this portion here. We're going to take this, we're going to have to cut this down to where this is back here a little bit more in line, because like I said, we got to have the geometry right. So I'll mark this, we'll get it in line, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so our next step, I took the little fork arm thing here, I chopped it all to pieces, and I cut this out to get it to the length that we need right here. Okay, so I'm going to weld this here, but I'm not just going to weld that. I got this pipe, I'm going to slide this over, I'm going to weld this, I'll grind her down, then I'm going to slide this back, and I'm going to weld this and weld this, just to make double sure that this thing's going to be strong and it ain't going to break. And then we'll move on to our next little thing. So, alright, so we got this next piece of the puzzle, and now we gotta shorten this one right here. We got to turn this around anyway. This has got to go on here like so, and then I'm just going to whack it right there, and I'm going to put this piece on right side up so that it comes in from underneath right there, and put that on. Of course, before I do all of this, I'm going to put the wheels on temporarily and do some measuring, make sure that we're pretty well in line, you know, as close as possible, before I actually hook all this up. And make sure my steering wheel's pretty well straight and centered where I want it to be. I put a mark on the steering box and the shaft where I got it exactly centered before I put all that together. I just got to make sure exactly where I'm going to be putting this thing to start in the center. So anyway, making progress. Alright, so here's the next part. And this part is hollow. But we got our pieces here. We're going to weld them together. And since it's hollow, I got this old piece of a busted file, and I'm going to put that down inside there. Fits just about right. I'm going to weld that in there. Well, we'll cut that off to where it fits down in there, and we'll weld all that sucker in there. So it's reinforced as well. So more progress. Alright, so we got her put together. Now, it does travel, it does everything it's supposed to, but the problem is, with this pivot right here, it lets it have too much play, and so my steering doesn't steer as tight as I need it to. It just doesn't have the range that I need. So I'm gonna have to make an adjustment. I think what I'm gonna have to do probably is I'm probably gonna have to shorten up this right here and just put it solid. Put my vertical solid on here so that it moves back and forth. It'll still be able to swivel in here, but I can't have it pivoting like this. So, yeah, we're getting closer. All my aminals are giving me a fit. Said, time to do chores. So, and it's getting warmish. It's only 8:30, but it's warm. So, anyway, I'm not sure what all I'm going to have to end up doing today, but I know I got more stuff to do, and I can't spend all day out here because it's going to be too hot. So, we'll make some progress. So, I'm going to wrap this one up. Say thanks for following along with me this morning, and for following my crazy no sleeping self. And do me a favor, if you ain't subscribed, go ahead and do that, and give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down or a thumbs sideways or whatever, and hit the notification bell so you know when the next video comes out, which will be tomorrow, day 38 coming up. And we're running out of time for them no-name nationals. They'll be here before you know it. We'll be standing here saying, boy, wasn't that fun? So, anyway, till next time, y'all keep watching, I'll keep working.